Hello, everybody. Welcome back to the United Way. Qatar to buy United ? And Glazers. Prioritise full sale. I was live earlier on, but then my internet acted up, and then I don't know what happened up, and then I was meant to continue. So I'm back live. Hope everyone is doing well after that thrashing yesterday. Some thrashing, I tell you. Only if we could be the team to be winning 7-0 would be great, but yeah, no, not at the moment anyways. But we're going to talk a bit about this news with the Glazers. Hope you know Qatar in pole position, and yeah, it's going to be an interesting few weeks. It just goes to show it's like when United get hammered, the Glazers turn around and say, "Oh yeah, maybe we should sell Manchester United. Yeah, maybe we are the problem." But yeah, well, we'll talk about a few comments about Ten Hag. You talk, a few comments out about him, about the Liverpool game. So we're going to talk about that as well. And again, there's always lots to talk about Manchester United these days. There's always lots of stuff to talk about with Manchester United. Even when we do well or when we don't do well, there's still like a lot of things to talk about. We'll just go through a first. Let me go through this. As part of the regular routine, Manchester United players were encouraging for a recovery session at 9 a.m. today, irrespective of the result. The team analysis, team analysis, and discuss each game the day after it's played. Lots to talk about in that game. Ten Hag forces Manchester United players to sit in silence and listen to Liverpool's players celebrate their record 7-0 win. Oh God. Ten Hag laid into his players, telling them they were lucky to be returning back to Manchester on the team bus and not made to travel back with the fuming fans who paid the money and travelled to watch such a pitiful display. We also said, as Manchester United source said, Ten Hag was obviously furious and told them they were lucky to be getting on the team bus back to Old Trafford. Yeah, and Ten Hag warned all the players that if anything like that Liverpool defeat happens again, there won't be another chance for them, and they'll be put in the under-21s. So Ten Hag is he's laying down the law very, 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 very soon, and that's what I like about him. I don't think Ten Hag be the type to sit down and be like, oh, yeah, we lost 7-0, but we'll be back, won't we? Yeah, wrong manager. That was the early days. We're not in the early days. We're in the Ten Hag days. I'm afraid to say we're getting into the good days because I'll end up getting clipped. But we're not doing too bad. We lost 7-0. I don't know what to say. Manchester United. Rahul's back. Sorry about that one earlier, Rahul. Literally, it's like just a rerun, so I had to leave the recent stream. Oh, yeah, it's just mental. It's just typical, isn't it? It's just typical. If it's not Manchester United, it's Manchester United acting up. It's me. And yeah, good that he is doing those things. It's always nice to see laying down the law, not letting these players do anything. Like he literally said that if the players, if anything like that Liverpool trashing happens again, they're going to the under-21s. Now, the under-21s are probably going, hold on a sec, what's wrong with the under-21s? Hold on a sec. Nothing wrong. Look at the City game. We were going in, what was it, 4-0, 3-4-0. I suppose you could hear Ten Hag going mental at the Manchester United players. And yeah, don't get me wrong, rightly so. Don't let these players go with anything. I love Manchester United, I really, really do, but don't let the players go with anything, because in that case, they do it all the time. And that's why I love Ten Hag. That's why I'll always back Ten Hag. Yeah, we lost 7-0. Some people say it's a sackable offence. Yeah, last season, Ollie didn't even get sacked when we lost 5-0 at Old Trafford, and he should have got sacked before that game. But unfortunately, that's just how it is. And yeah, a few other things as well. Ten Hag is also understood to have told his players to expect more sessions with his sports psychologist Rainer Cowers, who was hired by the Manchester United a few months ago. The Man United source added Ten Hag doesn't want the players going back to the bad days of last season, so that's why he wants them to work more with the sports psychologist. And Ten Hag's Dutch compatriot Cowers was with Manchester United at their winter training camp in Cadiz during the World Cup break in December, and is understood to have visited the training grounds a couple of times a week to work with the squad. Ten Hag also said the bad days are the days. The bad days are the days that if you do the right things, if you react with the right messages as a manager and as a team, you can learn a lot from it. He said in his post-match press conference, you can strengthen your mentality. He also says we have to reset, but we'll do that. I know my players; they're good characters. They can bounce back, and they will. Bruno Fernandes, all this news going around about Bruno Fernandes. It doesn't seem to be worrying Bruno Fernandes. But listen, we're here to talk about the Glazers. After Liverpool loss, we always change things. Mourinho sacked, Ollie sacked. What do you think? What do you think will change this time? Yeah, that's it. It's just the fan base, isn't it? The fan base doesn't know what to do. It's just some fan base, you know what I mean? And that's why sometimes I get very pissed off about this fan base, because we don't know what way to act. But the problem is Mourinho deserved to get sacked, and so did Ollie. So I don't really see Ten Hag won his. I know Mourinho won his 3 trophies, 4 if you want to count the Community Shield. Carabao Cup, FA Cup, FA Cup, and Carabao Cup, FA Cup, Europa League. 3 trophies, include the Community Shield if you want. That comes to 4. Ten Hag is doing a better job than I think Mourinho and Ollie have done. So that's just my opinion. People might agree, but that's the joy. But we're here to talk about Qatar. Qatar is in pole position for the takeover of Manchester United. Sheikh Jassein's final offer should be around €5 billion. So again, who knows what's going to happen? I know a few people like hold on a sec. Rahil says this time it's the Glazers sacked by the fans of footballing gods. Pretty much, yep. Pretty much. And yeah, Qatar in pole position, and I'm going to throw it out there, and I might come back to bite me, but we talked about it last week with Jamie Jackson. He said he'd be, as of now, he'd be surprised if the Glazers aren't gone come the summer. And obviously there's a lot more to read, but he said he'd be surprised if the Glazers aren't gone by the summer. A lot of you should know who Jamie Jackson is from The Guardian, but if you don't, there's no need to cry. But I feel like it won't be long before we have new owners. When will we get new owners is the question. I'm going to talk about who I'd prefer and why. And we know Qatar have the rights thing, human rights. So again, not happy with that one. And would they be a footballing country? Obviously not. I know they had the World Cup there, but obviously they're not a footballing country. And people are worried about this Champions League team, which doesn't seem to be a thing that doesn't seem to be a problem. And I do think Qatar are going to be new owners. I think I'd be surprised. I mean, they're in pole position. You're talking about the Rain Group. God knows what could come out tomorrow. Bloody the Glazers want $6 billion for the club. Will they get $6 billion? Again, Qatar aren't gonna, overpay overpay. They're not. They're not. They have all the money in the world probably, but they're not going to overpay. Come on, like they probably give them 6 billion or maybe 5.5, 5.5, 6 billion is probably what they do. 5.5. I mean, listen, I don't own a football club. I never have. Wish I did, but Rahul says their Glazers can't afford to stay, even if they wanted to. Pretty much, yeah. Pretty much. Oh my god! I mean, I just, I don't know what really to think about the Glazers these days. They're shy. They don't seem to care. They spent like 200 million in the summer. Fair play. It's like to one credit, so I'm not giving them it. But it's mad to believe. It's mad to believe that they're finally gone, and hopefully, especially after that loss yesterday, they finally realise, yeah, we should go, because they had. Listen, I'm not gonna say, oh yeah, it's your fault that we lost, but it'd be nice if you could maybe back the manager a bit more. And after here come the summer, oh god, I don't expect us to be signing centre backs and right backs and strikers and midfielders and whatever else, because we'd be lucky if we can get that far. So I wouldn't be expecting that. But again, you never know. But I hope, if it's a Ratcliffe or Qatar, I hope one of them are here by the summer. Ratcliffe, again, there's a problem. People have problems with Qatar and Ratcliffe. Ratcliffe, richest man in England. Does he have the money to, own this club? Does he have enough money? He probably has enough money to buy the club, but does he have enough? Does he have more money than Qatar? Would he give 5 billion, 6 billion? Would he give that price? You don't know. Would he be able to give the funds, that Qatar wants? But obviously, you have Ratcliffe and Qatar in the same room. Qatar are going to be the heavy favourites just because you have the money and they promise, the debt and stuff like that. So for the fans that say they would rather get Ratcliffe, that's fine. That's fine. That's fine and well and good, but don't complain when we aren't winning anything. Yeah, that's it. I mean, Qatar have. I mean, I know. I'd love us. I mean, I think it's the way to go in football. I personally think it's the way to go in football, and I think it's the. Unfortunately, in today's game, Newcastle, PSG, Man City probably won't be long before Liverpool maybe get bigger and better owners. How much should I say this? But it won't be long before we have new owners. And Qatar are going to be the heavy favourites. Again, that human rights stuff ain't people's biggest fan. But then, as I said, there's a problem with Ratcliffe, and people have a problem with Ratcliffe and what's the other guy? And Qatar. So again, it's going to be interesting to see how it all plans out. But Qatar, heavy favourites for me. They're the big favourites. Obviously, the thumbnail has Qatar inbound. They're inbound to want to buy the club. And, each other day, they had, supposedly they were going to be having meetings in the next fortnight or something like that. Ratcliffe and Qatar. Okay, that's interesting. Whatever happens there happens, but let's all follow it. But they're the big favourites, they're the heavy favourites. Qatar, and I know I keep saying it, but I think that they're going to be new owners. They've also said the Qataris want to keep Ten Hag in charge and have an ambitious transfer window. They also said the ambition is to make Manchester United the biggest club in the world without changing what works, like Eric Ten Hag, whose work is appreciated. The idea of recruiting a major player per line is gaining ground. And according to several people familiar with the matter, if the Glazers have a desire to sell, it can be done in 2 to 4 months. That's interesting to see. And, with Rahul's coming forth, for the fans that say they don't like Qatar ownership, that's fine, well and good. I already read that, did I? Will not be the same. Oh yeah. No, I agree. But it's gonna be interesting. To see what happens. But yeah, they're gonna keep Ten Hag, and that was the worry. If whoever comes in, will they want to get rid of Ten Hag and bring in someone crazy? Because you've seen it with Todd Bowley and what's the other guy's name? Thomas Tuchel. Sorry. Not a bad manager. You bit glimpses of poor form, but they were nowhere near as bad as they are now. So I I kind of don't see the major issue why they set Tuchel, but Graham Potter's the best manager in the world, isn't he? So keep him, Chelsea, keep him. But it was worrying, and I'll be surprised if even if it was Ratcliffe that comes in or whoever it is that they turn around and want to sack. Get rid of Ten Hag. Who else are you going to bring in? The fans love Ten Hag. The fans back Ten Hag. Basically, I can only blame. You can look at the Glazers. The Glazers are the players, and most of us always look at the Glazers. Yeah, people I'm not going to throw it as an excuse because we lost yesterday. No excuse. Players are poor. Players got it wrong. Ten Hag got it wrong. Bad day at the office. Very bad day at the office. We shouldn't have even turned up. Let's be real here. But they haven't really backed the manager as much as you'd like. I know people are like, oh yeah, we spent like 250 million. 200, but let's just say between 200 and 250 million. Yeah, oh God, can't even speak. In this, the amount of money we spent in the summer, people are like, yeah, but the Glazers gave that amount to Ten Hag and he spent it. Why are you still moaning? Yeah, but it's like you kind of have to beg. Please, it's like Ten Hag has to get down on his hands and knees and look up to the Glazers and say, please, can you please get me Casemiro? Can you please get me Frankie de Jong? Can you please get me Lisandro Martinez? Can you please get me Malacia? Can you please get me Anthony? Weghorst, Sabitzer, Butland, Dubravka. Don't have to do much begging there because they're loan players, but still. Rahul says, in an ideal world, all clubs will be owned by the fans. We don't live in an ideal world, and for the people wanting that, I don't blame them. But why do Man United have to take the L for this and not others? That's it, and I agree with you. I mean, if if the club could be owned by fans, my God. It'd be great, but unfortunately, I probably wouldn't trust myself, to be honest. I'd end up releasing Harry Maguire or something like that. But Harry Maguire, Phil Jones, and who else do we have in there that I just don't like? McTominay. But yeah, it's interesting. It is interesting, and it's always going to be interesting to see what happens over the next while. And I'm not surprised that the Qatar are the heavy favourites. I mean, I remember doing a show, I think it was like 2-3 weeks ago, about the Qatar put a bid in. Everything was looking up Millhouse. Debt free, gonna back the manager, give the fans what they want, improve Old Trafford, improve the training ground. Basically, what we've asked for over these last couple of years is what Qatar are interested in giving us. And that's why they're the favourites, and that's why I think they're going to come in and buy Manchester United. Because listen, they seem, I mean, I think you said it on a previous stream, Rahul. The man who wants to buy us, I think it's Sheikh. I can't pronounce. I'm always going to butcher this guy's name. He'll buy the club, and I'll still butcher his name. Sheikh Jassim. He's supposedly overruling his father or whatever to want to buy this club. So he wants to buy the club, and if Ratcliffe comes around and says, "I'll give you more than what the Qatar gave you," Qatar will say, "Really? Well, I'll give you more than what Jim Ratcliffe gave you." So I feel like there's always going to be that battle, but I still think that Qatar are just going to come out the winners. And again, personally, Ratcliffe, he's Manchester United fan. Happy days. He's one of us with more money, obviously. Qatar, I think Sheikh Jassim is Manchester United fan since he was 8. And he has the money. So there's a positive and a negative in each of those two people who want to buy the club. Does Ratcliffe have the money to, he probably has. Does he have enough money to buy the club, and does he have enough money to be able to control the club? Because it depends how long he's here for. But he's a Manchester United fan. Qatar, human rights and all that. Could that have an effect? Shouldn't, but I'm on about the fans. There's a negative on each one. Like, let's be honest, the Glazers don't care. Yeah, you offer me more than what he gave you, 6 billion, 6.5. Yeah, lovely, I'll take that. Good luck. And then Qatar obviously have the Spondulics. What do Qatar really get from this? Not much, really. The guy's already loaded. There's your great flag. Exactly, that's what I'm saying. But there's a negative in each one about the human rights and the human rights. So there's negatives and positives on each one. Like, I'd like Qatar because they're giving us they have the money, all this debt-free stuff. They're going to improve Old Trafford, improve the training ground, give the fans what they want, back Eric Ten Hag, back the manager, and get us back to the top where we should be. Get us back to the top. And Ratcliffe has, he let's just say what Ratcliffe has done it's not exciting, and then people are worried about could the Champions League, because PSG and the Champions, I think Qatar, the PSG owners, could that Champions League football affect us? I'm pretty sure that's all good in the hood. The way we couldn't be able to. Remember it was happening a while ago that if Qatar do buy us, then we won't be able to play Champions League football. I mean, it doesn't seem to be a problem, so hopefully we get over it. Hopefully we get over it. And please hit that subscribe button as well. Much appreciated. Big things on the way. Not sure what happened tomorrow. I might have I'm not even gonna. But obviously Wednesday, preview for the game, on the preview for the Real Betis game. Watch along on Thursday for the Real Betis game, and and Saturday as well. We'll be back. So we'll put the schedule up later on. But there's a lot of things to be looking in at, and it's going to be interesting. And I think and as it's obviously I this, so I'm going to try to be neutral on this because I don't want anyone saying, "Oh, you said this," and no way you're backtracking. I don't backtrack. Trust me on that one. If we are saying that's it, a moral for Qatar to own it, it's not a moral for Newcastle and City. And if that is what, if it is, what do we do about that? So if we're saying that it's a moral for Qatar to owners, is it not a moral for Newcastle and City? Again, it's just one of those, Rahul, to be honest with you. I mean, as you said, it seems to be going, City don't see it, but then City, with that, the breaches in Newcastle, thought they were having a bit of a problem. But still, like it's interesting to see what happens. Uh, Sorry about that. But it's you know, you're never gonna get the best of both worlds. Let's be honest. Let's just throw it out there. You're never gonna get the best of both worlds. And unfortunately, Qatar. I think Qatar are going to be the new owners. Um, I think Qatar are going to be new owners, and it's going to be interesting. Um, but just a bit of news coming in there. Casemiro will be assessed by medical staff ahead of the game against Betis on Thursday after he picked up an injury against Liverpool. So it's all okay for anyone else. As soon as Man United do it, it's the most evil. Manchester United are the most hated club in the world. I'm throwing it out there. I love Manchester United. You love Manchester United. We are the most hated team in the world. People hate us. We're despised. We are hated. We're the most hated club in the world, hands down. If you can name me a club that people hate more than Manchester United, please do, because I will really be interested to hear. We're hated. Everything we do is wrong. So we live in people's head rent free, and we're hated. And I say, fuck off, jog on, adios, peace. You know what I mean? Speak to you soon. You know what I mean? And it's then right again. Ratcliffe. It's between Ratcliffe and Qatar, and Ratcliffe doesn't seem to be nowhere near the heavy favourite. Nowhere near the heavy favourite. Um, but back the manager, back the manager. Let's see what happens. People hate us because they know what we can do with the owners. That's it. That's it. People are like, every in Newcastle done it, wasn't mentioned. Like you said, Newcastle done it, wasn't mentioned. City done it, wasn't mentioned. So why we're a lot of people. The Qatar are the heavy favourites. A lot of Manchester United fans want them, especially when they put that bid in. They're the heavy favourites, and I'll be surprised if Ratcliffe is the new owner. Like if I'm sitting here this time next year, I'm like, so Ratcliffe is, Ratcliffe, new owner. Look what he's doing. I'll be very surprised if Ratcliffe is the owner, because Qatar, it doesn't seem like they're gonna let this go unless the Glazers just say, yeah, listen, we're selling the club. We've changed our mind. Adios. But then he might still fight. So it's literally a battle between Ratcliffe and Qatar, and as I said, I think Qatar are going to be new owners. And I'd like Qatar because they have the money, but then Ratcliffe's a Manchester United fan and he has money. Nowhere near as much money as Qatar do, but it's hard to decide. Do you think the fans would boo Ratcliffe if he buys us? It depends, because it's the fan base is half, isn't it? The fan base seems to be very mixed. Very mixed. A few want Ratcliffe, a few want Qatar, but majority of the fan base wants Qatar, and very little of the fan base wants Ratcliffe. But I don't think many would be happy. They'd be more happy if Ratcliffe bought us. They'd be more happy if Qatar bought us. But I don't think they'd boo. But you know, the guys just don't care who comes in. Let's be honest. They just want the money and they want gone. So they don't really care. Just once the Glazers get the right amount of money or whatever, that's all that matters to them. But I don't think they'd boo Ratcliffe, but I don't think many would be happy. Let's just say that. But according to the fan base, um, Qatar, and they would buy the club full. They won't be. they won't be short a few money. They won't be short a few money. They won't be short a few bob. There's a difference. Ratcliffe would only buy 69%. Qatar would buy 100%. That's it. You know, I mean, he has money, but has he got enough money to buy Manchester United? It's the big question. But listen, it's going to be interesting to see what happens over these next few weeks now, next few days, and that. But the Qatar are in pole position, so if you don't know what that means, basically the favourites. And as I said, I'll be very surprised if Qatar aren't the new owners. But listen, it's going to be interesting. I mean, if Ratcliffe all of a sudden has more than what people say he has, and it's going to be interesting. But it's a battle. It's literally a war. I mean, Ratcliffe, he'd like to he'd buy us through loans or something like that, and then he repay them. But the Glazers bought us through loans, and look where we are at the moment. The club is in debt. So if I had to choose Qatar, just because Ratcliffe doesn't seem like he'd have enough money to bring the club forward, and we would be called oil club. We would get called, it'd go from the Manchester derby to the oil derby and all that. Anyways, but listen, it is what it is. A lot of other clubs do it. I mean, what about if we brought in Ratcliffe and then 3-6 months down the line, Liverpool get owners to have the richest owners, and we're sitting here with our Ratcliffe gone. Yeah, shit. Why are we buying the extra 12%? Because they don't want any other authority to affect us in any other way. There's different levels. There's different levels. There's a lot of things. There's a lot of interesting things, and that seems to be. It's just a big problem at the moment. And everyone like the stream as well. And subscribe. Follow our socials. Link in the description. If this days we're not loving YouTube, we're always on Instagram updating, so we don't fail to this point. I mean, Qatar basically wants the club to themselves. They don't want the Glazers sitting there in the background. They want the club. They want to turn around and say, I can do what I want now. I don't have to go and run to a certain family or a certain sibling of the Glazer family and say, you know what I mean? So, yeah, no. They're they had the money, and as I said, they are the heavy favourites, and I mean, they will be better than the Glazers, and no one can be as bad as the Glazers. I'm sorry, but no one can be as bad as the Glazers. But it's just interesting. But Qatar, they're going to have these meetings in the next fortnight, and it's going to be interesting to see where it goes from there. Do they buy the club? My biggest nightmare is the Elliott Group or any similar group funding That's it. If the Elliott comes in, Glazers will be like, well, you don't want to buy us in the full sale, and we don't mind. So again, that's the worry. But as I said, Qatar, they but looks for it doesn't seem like they'll go down without a fight. And hopefully it stays that way. And definitely will be an interesting one. But if Elliott do come in, they'll only buy the club, half of the club. They won't have money to buy the whole of Manchester United Football Club. So the Glazers definitely wouldn't mind that. But it's just because Qatar wants us on a full sale. The Glazers seem to be a bit fussy and a bit peckish on what they want to do. And it is going to be interesting. But as I said, it'd be hard to keep Qatar out of this deal. So, I mean, that Elliott Group is kind of gone a bit quiet, so I wouldn't worry about that one too much. But again, football is football. But it's going to be interesting to see what happens. As we said, Qatar are in pole position, and you don't see them nearly every day of the week. It's Qatar. not about Ratcliffe, or Elliot. It's just Qatar. Yeah, there's nothing more than that, and that's why I'm I haven't got a doubt in my mind that I can't. I just don't know. It'd be hard to see anyone else buy the club except for Qatar. But listen, Ratcliffe could pull something out of the bag, but does he don't get me wrong, he probably has money to like 4.5 billion was probably 4.5 billion was supposedly the bid he gave, and Qatar gave like 5.5. So it's going to be I think Qatar out of the people who have bid it, Qatar have bid it the most. Qatar have gave you a detailed description of what they will do: invest in facilities, women's group, infrastructure, community. What has Ratcliffe said? Put Manchester back in Manchester. Yeah, I agree. I mean, Rahul, nearly everything you've said has been spot on. I do agree with you. He's not. It's not obviously it's not looking promising with Ratcliffe because he hadn't really said much. I mean, put Manchester. To be honest with you, I actually don't get what that means. Put Manchester back in Manchester. I mean, whatever that means, please let me know in the comments because they have promised, but then the Glazers have promised us stuff in the past we haven't got it. But that's the Glazers. You know what I mean? They're not going to turn around and give you whatever the amount it is. But no, listen. Like if I had to listen to me go, I'd say yeah, Qatar. Qatar are going to be new owners because, as Rahul said, they've seemed more promising, and the Glazers. It's just because the Glazers know we want to bring owners in, us look good, and Qatar basically turned around and said, yeah, good luck with that one, Mister Glazer. But yeah, I mean, listen, if I had to put up a big poll, which I'm not because we're going to head soon, or a big post or whatever it is, or any other fan channel, I put up a poll. Most of it would be probably, I'm going to say it, 80, 90%. I mean, 85. I wouldn't put a percentage on it, but let's just say expect more people wanting Qatar in than Ratcliffe. You will get the odd people who want Ratcliffe in as well. So that's what I'm saying. You will get people who want Ratcliffe in as well. So you're not going to get away with it. And again, I'd love to. I mean, a few people want Ratcliffe in because of this human rights stuff that Qatar have, and the Champions League football could be an effective thing. Qatar not only have enough to buy us, they can also invest in our community and make the area great around Manchester. Ratcliffe can barely buy us. That's it. Ratcliffe wants to buy us through, I think it's loans or something like that. So, yeah, no, it's not looking promising at Ratcliffe, but they offered less than what they've offered less than what Ratcliffe has offered less. So that's said, Elliott Group, Ratcliffe, and Qatar have offered the most, and they seem to have the most promising bid. And again, this show seems to be going well. But as I said, let us know in the comments who you want as the new Manchester United owner. Do you want Elliott? Be partial sale. Do you want Ratcliffe or do you want Qatar? Or don't be afraid to pop us a DM on our socials, Instagram, Twitter, even in the comments, and we can talk. But who like him, why? Ratcliffe is low key playing the nepotism card with the fans. Yeah, and supposedly he owns a French club as well, Ratcliffe, and they're not doing so well. So, there's a negative with Qatar and Ratcliffe, but the only negative with Qatar is the human rights. You take that out of it, it's not a problem. Ratcliffe hasn't got enough money, and I think it's Nice owns. Ratcliffe or whatever. Not sure whether he's a full. He owns the club fully or partially. But supposedly, they're not doing the best. But yeah, thanks everybody for watching. Really, really enjoyed this show. I always enjoy these shows when a few people in and comments flying at me. Thanks everyone for popping by. I have well, this about this. I'm getting over the defeat yesterday, but there's still it's like someone just punched you, and there's a big gap there. But thanks everybody for watching. Like, comment, hit that subscribe button. Let us know, as I said, let us know who you'd like as the owner, as the new Manchester United owners in the comments, or follow all our socials, link in the description. Obviously we have Twitch, the United Way Career Modes there, Twitter, and Instagram. And then obviously we have all our socials in the description. But yeah, thanks everybody for watching. Like, comment, hit the subscribe button. I will speak to you all on the next one. We'll get Qatar be new owners. Speak to you all in a bit.